Morning, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Love 500, welcome back to a very cold day. Today is Project Minty time. This is my sister-in-law's car, which I did for her at cost price about 3 years ago, and its MOT has actually run out, and it needs servicing. Brakes need doing, and needs a general service. And I said to her last night, actually we'll come on to that in a minute, let's do it, let's get into the video. It's freezing cold, I want to get this done ASAP. Let's go. Yeah, as I was just about to say, I said to her last night, I'd said to her previously, make sure the service book's in the car, and she said, oh, I don't know where it is, I'll see if I can find it. She didn't find it. I said to her, when was the last time it was serviced? She said, I haven't had it serviced. So, yeah, she's had it about 3 years. I can't remember if I serviced it or it was serviced by somebody, or I don't know, because I haven't got access to the book. So, yes, so it's probably not had a service for 3 years. She has topped up the oil, because obviously cars do use a bit of oil. I did put a new thermostat in it, so it's had new coolant in it. It'd be interesting to see what the air filter's like. She does do a massive amount of miles in it, I have to say. You know, she poodles around, she goes to work in it and that. I'm not even sure what the mileage is. I'll have to have a look and see what the mileage was when I got it. And then I'll flash that up on the screen now, actually, because I haven't got a clue what the mileage was when I got it. But it's, I mean, it is absolutely filthy dirty. She doesn't, you know, in her defence, she doesn't really have a lot of time. She's an extremely busy person. But yeah, it is a state. I don't suppose she's probably ever cleaned it herself, literally never. Now, there was an issue with the door. It seems to have disappeared. Unless someone's fixed it for her. Oh no, it is still there. I think you can't see it for the dirt. Yeah, the door there is dented in. So something's caught it, I reckon, probably in a car park. So I'm going to try, hopefully without breaking the paint, I'm going to try and bend that back. It doesn't notice so much at the moment. I noticed it at night when she came round the other day. And it caught it, I thought it was a shadow. And I said, is that a shadow on your door? Is there like a ridge in it? But yeah, no, it goes in, I think. Am I imagining things? No, it does. You can feel it. If I have time, even though it's freezing cold, I'm hoping it's a blue sky today. It is God knows what the temperature is. As you can see, the tyre marks from where my neighbour left for work about probably 2.5, 3 hours ago are ice, basically. Yeah, I think they're ice. Yeah, solid ice. And the road is just completely white. It's absolutely freezing. I've got 4 layers on today. Need some gloves. Anyway. Yes, so we're doing air filter, not doing pollen filter. I'm doing air filter, oil. We'll check all the fluids, obviously. I think the brakes are going to need doing. Hopefully I can find the locking wheel nut key. She did have, no, that was on the previous car. She had really expensive brakes. They cost her like 350 quid to have her brakes done. Just the front brakes and pads and discs on the previous car that she had from me. And I said to her, for heaven's sake, next time you need brakes, come to me. I'll do them at cost for you. So, yeah, she got ripped off by a local garage who people rave about, which is what gets me. And as much as she tells people they rip me off, and I say to people I wouldn't use them, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, people still continue to go to them and rave about how good they are, but they're just ripping people off. Terrible. I won't name them for obvious reasons. But yeah, now the biggest issue with this car, which was like it, obviously, I don't know if you can see through the camera, but the bumper is a different colour to the rest of the car. And I got this, this is impossible to get in colour, this bumper. And when I did this car, it had a new bumper. I don't think it had wings or anything like that, it just had a new bumper. And I could not get one for love nor money in colour. So I bought a brand new one, painted to code, and it was too light. And I told her this and said, look, I'm going to have to get it to the body shop. I can't let it go like this. And she said, don't worry about it. She said, I'm not bothered. So I did it. I put it on, and she's had it ever since and been happy with it. She loves the car, although she does want a facelift now. So I am on the lookout for a facelift for her. Probably a lounge. The only other issue that I hate, again, but she didn't bother, she wanted reversing sensors, which have actually packed up. so I need to look at those if I get the time as well. As you can see, they're olive green, and I said to her at the time about painting them. She said, no, don't worry, because I said I'll have to buy a tin of paint, because I don't think I've got paint in this colour. Well, I didn't at the time. I don't think I have since, because I haven't done a car in this colour since. I would love to paint those if I ever get this back, which I think I probably will, to sell when I get her a facelift. I've got quite a bit of work to do on it, really, including those sensors. But generally, it's a nice car. It's a 15 plate, so it's revised ECU. It's got the new seats, the new wheels, and so on and so forth. So it's just this damn colour. I would never buy one in this colour again. Ever since I've done this car, I have had a search on eBay, which, the searches on eBay that notify you when there's new listings. I have had Fiat 500 bumper green and Fiat 500 whatever the colour is, and in that 3 years a bumper that was worth buying has never ever come up. There's facelift ones, but not non-facelift ones. They've always been too much damage for about 3 years. So when I do eventually get this car back to sell, I'm going to have to do something about this. I'm going to probably have to get it to a body shop. The gap's not brilliant here either. That needs sorting out. But again, she wasn't bothered about that. But that can all be, again, if this was 3 years ago, I'll make a better job of them now. So I will, without a doubt. I can't remember if this was an N or an S. I think it might have been an S, actually. I'm not sure. Again, I will put it up on the screen now, assuming I can find the paperwork for it. Yeah, I think we need to stop talking and get on with it. I'm going to get the engine started, warm the oil up first before we go any further, and then I'll take the wheels off and get it up in the air. Actually, I'll get it up in the air first, and then we'll start it up. So be back in a minute. I'm going to get it up on axle stands, and then we'll come back. Right, up in the air. So that disc isn't too bad. It's got a little bit of a lip, a little bit scored, but I think probably if this was a car I'd just got, I probably wouldn't be changing this disc. Brake pads are fairly low, probably about a third. I don't know if it's getting in there properly, but they're down to about a third. But the other side is quite low. Brake pads are almost on the metal. Not sure it's focusing. Let me try and focus it. Yeah, I don't know if you can see in there or not, but they are pretty much almost down to the metal. And the disc, as you can see, where they're worn, it's got a big score around there. Not much of a lip, but as the pads have gone so low, it scored the disc. So that disc, and obviously you change it as a pair, so I am doing it. That's what happens when you don't get your car serviced. Right, so as I said, this has not been serviced, so I dread to think when the last service was done on this. So let's have a look at the oil. As I say, the oil has been topped up numerous times, so it's sort of, it's been diluted with new oil a few times, but I think at one point it was really, really low, and I topped up with oil. That was well over a year ago. I don't know how long ago it was, but quite a while ago. Yeah, it's black. I mean, plenty of it. It's full up. Can't see the oil filter from here. Where's my torch? Lost my torch. What the hell have I done with it? There it is. Just have a look at the oil filter, see how. Doesn't look that old, actually. Maybe. No, it hasn't been serviced. She would know if it had been serviced, wouldn't she? But yeah, no, it looks all right. Engine bay's quite dirty, of course, but they always are. Everything else is okay. I say it's dirty, but we do actually have a split in the airbox here, but it's got some tape over it and it's fine. Again, she didn't want the extra expense of getting an airbox. It was only a little crack, so I just put some tape over it, which is fine. Again, when I get this back, I'll put a new airbox on it. I won't leave that one on it. But then, I spend the money. She doesn't want to. So, okay, anyway, I'm going to get the air filter off first. We'll have a look. I'm interested to look at the state of the air filter, so I'll be back once I've got that off, and I'll show you it. Well, considering she said that she's not ever had this serviced, this air filter looks virtually new. She must have had it serviced. I'm going to replace it. But that's crazy. As soon as I've got one and she's paid for it, I'm going to replace it. But as you can see, that's barely dirty. How weird is that? How strange. Okay. As I say, I'm going to replace it anyway. I certainly haven't serviced it for her, that's for sure. You think she would have known? She would know, wouldn't you? Whether it's been serviced. Nice new one. That's really bizarre. Oh well, never mind. She's got a new one anyway. Right, I'll be back shortly. I'm just going to put this back on, and then we're going to warm up the engine, warm the oil up, and then see if we can get that sump nut undone. Yeah, managed to get it out this time. Which is good. Now, the good thing about it being up on the axle stands is that the car is leaning towards the back a little bit. Even though we're on a slight slope here, the car is leaning towards the back, and because of that, the sump plug is at the back, so the oil would it's sort of straight, the car, because of the slope, but it is leaning back a little bit, so then obviously the oil will all fall to the back of the sump, and then hopefully we'll get more out like that. So we'll leave that 5 minutes just to finish draining, and then we'll get the oil filter off. Right, that is the oil filter off, the new one on. Nice white one, so you can see it better down there. You can't actually see it there, but I must empty these. That's the one that came out of the oil filter, and that's the main oil. I know I'm going to kick it over. If you remember the last time I did an oil change, I was standing on the driveway talking to my neighbour with the oil pan in my hand, and I dropped it. All the oil went over the driveway. At least it's in the garage now, but yeah, I must empty it into a container, which I haven't actually got an empty container, so I need to find one somewhere. Yeah, okay, so 2.8 litres goes into the filler cap, run it up to temperature a little bit, and then make sure there's no leaks, and check the oil level again, and top it up if necessary. So some people say that you should put 0.3 litres of oil, or fill the oil filter up before you put it on. But the thing is, you turn it sideways to put it on, and it'll all just pour out. So I don't really get that one unless you turn the car on its side. Maybe that's what people do. Anyway, let's get it filled up with oil, and then we'll run it up and check for leaks and make sure there's enough in there, and then we can move on to the brakes. Right, that's the servicing all done. It's all topped up with oil. Once I've done the brakes, I will check the oil level and top up as necessary, or if necessary. Could do the brakes now, so hopefully this shouldn't take too long. Normally it only takes me 20-25 minutes a side normally to do discs and pads, so hopefully it'll be nice and quick. What I'll do is I'll set you up on time lapse. We'll time lapse one side, and yeah, and then we'll just get the other side done, and then that'll be it, and then we can back it up and give it a good clean. So let's get on with it. done. All done. I had a bit of a problem on this side. I should have come in and recorded it, but you know the two little studs that hold the disc on, one of them was rounding off and I couldn't get it off. And I managed to use my, you know, sort of, let me show you actually, because if you haven't got any of these and you do this sort of thing, it's really worth getting some. They are fantastic. These are them here. So it was a 12mm nut, which means you use number 4. So their size, so they're just a little bit too small, and because of the way they're made, they've got, you see the shape, was in focus, get in focus, there. Because of the design of it, and they are just very, very, very slightly small, and you sort of hammer them on gently, and then you get a socket on the end of it, and it just comes undone. And I was so pleased I had those, because I had, you know, it wasn't like it was my own car. She needs this car tonight. She's got an evening class, I think, so she needed it. So I couldn't do one disc and not the other. So I was almost in panic mode for a minute. What am I going to do? But it's sorted. That thanks to that little tool. So yeah, if you haven't got any of those, get yourself some. They're brilliant. So that's it. I've checked the oil. It's all good. It's all where it should be. I've reversed it up and down the drive. Brakes are good. Yeah, pleased with that. Free service. Apart from the parts, of course, so it's £99 I think it was for all those parts. So that was Pagid discs, Pagid pads, which I'm never going to buy anything else now because you get all the bits with it, all the bits that you scramble around for. You get the new bits. So I'm going to yeah, and Ica, however you pronounce it, discs, which I always buy. They seem pretty good. And then the usual sort of plugs. I didn't change the plugs. There's nothing wrong with the plugs. Air filters and air filter and oil filter. So all is good. I would have liked to have done the pollen filter. I've never done one, and I know they're a pain in the arse. And I've even bought the right spanner. I bought an offset 5.5mm spanner to do it, and I haven't brought myself to do it yet because it's a pain. But I will do it at some point, and I will have to do a how-to video on it because I know lots of people want to do it, and I often see people asking, and not sure whether there's any videos out there or not, probably. But I like to put my own little spin on it and waffle at them. Anyway, this is absolutely minging this car, so I have spilt some oil, unfortunately. I think that was where the sump plug came out. I don't know how I did it, but I did. You can't help it really when you're taking sump plugs out. Even though I had lots of cardboard down there, just, I don't know. So I need to clean that up, and then I'm going to give this a damn good clean. We'll give it a jet wash and give it a snow foam. I haven't got any pre-treatment. I must get some of that citrus pre-treatment that Danny, it's all in the detailing, often recommends and often does videos on. He swears by it, and I've seen other people say good things about it as well. So I am going to get myself some of that. But for the time being, I'm just going to give it a snow foam. So yeah, I'll be back once it's clean, and then that'll be finished. I can go and stick it out on the road and move my white one back down here. So it's all done. It's actually clean now as well, or as clean as I can get it. Wheels are a bit grubby still, but it's generally clean. So it's all serviced, cleaned on the outside, not on the inside. I didn't bother attacking that because it ain't that bad actually. So that could be done at a later date. I had to take out the reversing sensors because they couldn't get them to work, so needs another kit. But yep, all done. So yes, so that's the end of Project Minty. We'll no doubt be getting it back at some point, probably when we do it to sell it, when I manage to get her a facelift car. So she's just sent me a text asking me if it's done. I said yes, it's all done, and it's clean as well, and she said you're fabulous, and I said I know. So yeah, it cost her 99 quid for the parts, my labour, free of charge. Yeah, that's it. I did have a visit today as well. I had a visit from Alex from Car 101 Salvage. Came down this afternoon. He went to South London to pick a car up, and I said to him, as you're sort of coming my way to get back to the motorway, drop in for a cuppa if you want, and he did. So we had a good old chinwag, and he's now on his way back to sunny Hampshire, not Hampshire. Can't think where he lives now. Down that way somewhere. Hampshire, I think it is, isn't it, Alex? Anyway, so it was nice to meet Alex today, and yeah, expect more videos from him on his new car that he's got. which I won't tell you anything about it because I'll leave that up to him. But yeah, that's the end of Project Minty for the time being, and we'll be back on this car in the next video. It has warmed up a little bit today, even though I'm still dressed as if I'm going up Mount Snowdon with my 4 layers. It has actually warmed up a little bit, so hopefully next week, if we get some half decent temperatures, I can get on and get the dents done on this car. So until then, as always, if you're not a subscriber, please click on the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, more importantly, and we will see you on the next one. So take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.